Hello everyone. This is a video that I've been thinking about doing for a while, well, sort of a video series actually, and it's reviewing the patch notes. And for people who don't know, the patch notes are released every week they do an update. They'll put a list of the little minor things that didn't warrant a mention on the main page. So there are usually a pretty decent number of patch notes, and I thought I'd just go through them and point out the important things and do a little talk about it. So this is just going to be a listening thing. I don't really have any footage that goes along with it, so you can put this in a different tab or something like that while I talk. And also, if you'd like to actually read through the full patch notes, I've got a link to them in the description, well, the quick find code actually, and then I've got a summary of the ones that I'm going to discuss here, so if you don't want to listen to me, you can go there as well. So anyway, here we are. The first thing that I'd like to mention, I am leaving a lot of things out because there are some things that just no one really will notice ever. Like one of the patch notes this week was that they added a dungeon icon on the dungeon in Brain Death Isle. I mean, it's good that they go back and fix those things, but it doesn't really make for an interesting listen because, yeah, no one's really going to notice that except for the select few people who go there. So anyway, on to the actual thing. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the skills and minigames patch notes section. And okay, so this first one made me laugh a bit. It's the Squeal of Fortune will no longer open the claim reward screen instead of the spin screen with the unclaimable 200 mil coin prize. So evidently some people, they'd go log in, do their daily spins, and it would pop up with 200 mil on the claim screen immediately, and they wouldn't be able to claim it. So good to fix that. That's a good thing to fix. I can't imagine what I'd do if I saw that. I'd be a bit surprised. Next, the Castle Wars Halos now work with the Augury and Rigour prayers. I thought they did this a while ago for some reason, but I guess not. They work with turmoil. They don't work with overhead prayers from what I know. But I think that's intended. So they work with turmoil, then piety, augury, rigour, and I'm hoping they'll remember to make them work for torment and anguish on the beta. I actually haven't tested them there yet, but yeah, that would be good if they did that. Next, this one is actually one that I reported a while ago. It might not have been my report that made it happen, of course, but it's good that they're fixing it now, and it's that the Divine Spirit Shield no longer drains your prayer while using Invulnerability Crystal, which makes sense because you're not taking any damage, so why would it be reducing your prayer? That actually, when Divine Spirit Shields came out, you used to get the prayer drain even if you were using melee protect. I remember a post by King Duffy in the high level forum, I believe, and he was complaining about that because he had bought a Divine for Bandos, and he'd be using melee protect and he'd still be getting his prayer drained whenever it used a melee attack. So yeah, good that they're fixing this as well. Next is that there's an in-game message when you reach 50 charges left on your Polypore staff. That's good. You don't want to be just running out and trying to bash them with a stick. That's similar to what they did with the Crystal Bow. I believe the Crystal Bow also gives a warning message when it gets low on charges, because yeah, I remember people complaining that they'd like run out and attack a black dragon while holding a crystal in their hand. That wouldn't work too well. I mean, I guess no one actually uses crystal bows anymore, to be honest, but same idea. This next one, I'm sure everyone's noticed by now, well, maybe not everyone, but everyone who uses resizable mode, you can now resize the chat window while you're in resizable mode. That was very annoying that you couldn't. I don't know why they changed it, but yeah, now you can do it. Rapid Restore and Rapid Renewal, those are both prayers that restore your health over time. They can both be used at the same time now. I'm assuming that their effect stacks additively rather than multiplicatively, because otherwise it would be really overpowered. But I don't actually know anyone who ever uses those, so I don't know how useful that'll be in general, but okay then. And then the final bit, if you're not interested in fish flingers, just stop now, because all the rest of this is fish flingers. There were a lot of fish flingers things. I'm surprised they didn't make some sort of news post or some other major thing, because this fish flinger stuff is more than is usually in the patch notes. It's like a really major rework of it. So yes, fish flingers had a revamp, what was it, a month or something ago, and they changed around the gameplay, not ridiculously, but somewhat significantly. And now the scoring system actually makes you want to do the game the way it was intended to be played, rather than just letting a couple people go and find the correct combinations and everyone else just sort of AFKing. So yeah, I'll get right into it. So Well, this isn't really related to gameplay, but first off, you can buy multiple of the fishing outfits, and you can also put them in your play around house costume room now, so it doesn't really make much difference because you can always store them in your tackle box, but hey, why not? It's fine. I mean, I guess the only real advantage for that is if you just go and buy the fishing outfits and you don't want to buy a tackle box. Anyway, I don't see why you wouldn't get a tackle box, they're quite useful. So next, they changed how fishing tokens are given out for special things. So this is what I was talking about, how they want you to play the game the way it was intended rather than just camping at the heaviest fish. So they made it so that each big fish you catch will give you one fishing token, and you also get one fishing token per 2 assists that you do, and you also get one fishing token per 2 species that you catch at 100% rating, so that's 3 extra tokens there for just playing normally. So overall, this is pretty nice. I'm not sure if it'll quite even out and be better or worse than before, but we'll see. It should be about similar, which I think is good. Just keeping the same rewards, the same outcome, but making the gameplay better. Yeah, I like that a lot. So also, along with the tokens being given for catching big fish, they made it so that the medals reflect that as well. So in order to get all the medals now, instead of having to catch 80% of all the fish you catch from the heaviest type, you now need to catch all 3 of the biggest fish, and you also need to, instead of catching an average 80% rating or above, now you need to assist all 6 times. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'd say it goes along with the gameplay more. I haven't actually tested it, but I'm hoping it'll work out well. I like the idea of it. I'm a little bit worried that the big fish might be a little bit hard to do because there were a few other little changes for them as well, including the fact that they don't spawn where there are other big fish around. So if you're next to someone else and you would have caught a big fish before, now it won't even spawn. So that'll be a little bit tricky. I'm not sure how well it'll work for large games, but I think it'll be good overall. Next, you can now get fishing tokens to get into the Fish Flingers games just from fishing normally in RuneScape, in addition to the 2 that you get every day just by talking to the fishermen. And you can store up to 10 fishing tickets at once, just instead of 5, so that's pretty great. That makes it much more convenient. I'm not really sure what the rarity rate is for the tickets from normal fishing, but I've heard that they're actually not all that rare. So that's a nice thing for people who are still trying to get their tackle boxes or getting their trimmed comps back. And going along with the tickets, now whenever a Fish Flingers round ends, you get a message saying how many tickets you have left. That's a bit overdue, I'd say, because I remember a lot of people right after a game would end, they'd all quick chat how many tickets they had left, just to know, so that's a good little addition, nice quick fix. You can now use raw fish on your tackle box, and that will store them, and you can now also right click on the tackle box and use the withdraw option in order to withdraw the fish. So that's quite convenient, really nice for anyone who is trying to fish and use it as an extra storage thing. So yep, nice little upgrade there. And then the final thing for this video is that fishing runes can now be stored in tackle boxes. So yeah, just another nice little thing. I'm not exactly sure where they're actually stored. I looked at my tackle box and I assume it's in the tool section because that's now completely useless due to the tool belt, which stores all the tools there anyway. So that's quite nice. Overall, great patch notes. I mean, much better than normal, even though patch notes are generally pretty good. Just lots of little fixes there. And yeah, really great improvements to Fish Flingers. I'd say I think that'll make the game much better, at least much more logical. I mean, you're actually going to be playing the game the way it was meant to be played, rather than just camping and sort of grinding it. So, yep, cool stuff. This video actually went on a lot longer than I expected, mostly because of all of these Fish Flinger fixes, which are unusual. Normally a patch notes video like this would probably be around 5 minutes. So if you're interested in seeing more patch notes videos, please post or thumbs up or give me some form of feedback so that I know people enjoyed it, or not. If people don't want to see more like this, do that as well so I know. And yep, that's everything. Thanks for watching.